Welcome back to Triveni Memorial Senior Secondary School online classes. Students, today we are going to start with one of our another chapter from class 7 in Civics, that is our chapter number 5, Women Change the World. Students, you know this thing very well that in ancient time, girls were not given preference. They were not given priority over boys. Boys were given more preference over girls, so that was a form of discrimination that girls usually faces in the early time. But slowly and steadily with the change in time, women fought for their right, fought against the discrimination that they were facing in the society, and with respect to time, they were successful in getting their dignity and establishing their place in the society. So that is why the name of the chapter is Women Change the World. What is mentioned here, even today also this thing is there. We observe that housewives, they wake up early in the morning for completing their work, and they used to sleep in evening when all the people of houses got slept. What does that mean? They used to work for 24 hours, and what people or what society used to say that they are not doing any sort of business, they are not engaged in any sort of work. So what is that? That is wrong. They are also doing work, and we need to respect their work. That is what mentioned here. If a woman is working outside home, that doesn't mean that only then she is working. If the woman is working inside the home also and she is holding the whole home, then also that means that she is the one who is managing the whole house. You have seen this thing now, sometime your mother went at some different place, the whole house got disrupted, no one is there, your Zoom class is there, no one is there who is going to say just wake up and attempt it, you are not getting your meals at proper time. So we need to respect women in the society. So those changes occur there, they get more opportunities for themselves to establish them, to prove themselves that they are no less than men, physically, emotionally, and in all the aspects. So how they fight for their right, in this chapter we are going to study about that. Now one activity is there, particular things are mentioned, and you have to just represent or draw that picture here. If farmer picture, factory worker, nurse, and thereafter your scientist, pilot, teacher, etc. Now what is said here, see what image your class drew by filling in the table below. What table is given below here, and number of this table is getting information regarding the number of male and the number of female who are engaged in any sort of occupation. Like if you will categorize, you will find like teacher is there, do this activity in classroom. How many male members are there who are involved in teaching job? How many female members are there who are involved in teaching job? Farmers, male and female, factory workers, nurses, scientists, pilot, etc. You have to distribute how many males are there, how many females are there according to the class. Your situation, you have to categorize them at these different designation. Now see students, what is there? Rosie ma'am class has 30 children, and she did same experience in her class that I told you above, and she get this result. When she asked all the students to fill this table, she get this response that only 5 male members were engaged in teacher as per students thought, and 25 female members were there in teaching job. 30 male members were there in farming job, and no female member is there in farming job. 25 male workers were there in factory, and only 5 workers were there in female workers were there in factory. No male nurses there, all are female nurses, and 25 male scientists are there, and only 5 female scientists were there. 27 male pilots and 3 female pilots. This is the thinking of the students. Why this activity was done in the classroom? To represent or to know the thinking of the student. Now when you are going to see this particular table, you can clearly see the thinking of the students, how they are discriminating between boys and girls, how they are discriminating between the man and woman, where physical work is more required, like in case of farmer, no preference is given to women. Where more intelligence work is required, like in case of scientists, or technical work, like in case of pilots, again male members were given preference. Whereas the work where more care is required, more love is required, that is in the case of nurse, almost all the students have mentioned female nurses there and no man is there. Now what are these? These are basically the stereotypic situation, the stereotype information. Now what is stereotype? Stereotype means fixing the image of a particular thing or product in your mind earlier. That image can be in positive way or that image can be in negative way. Now your decision would be impacted on the basis of that situation. Like in this case, if this is particular situation or stereotype thinking is there in your mind that women are less physically stronger as compared to men, so definitely as per that activity you are not going to put any of the female member in farming task. If you think women are not intelligent, they don't have any caliber, you are going to keep very less number of female members or no female members in technical field, in the field of pilots or in the field of scientists. So what does that mean? That means somewhere or somehow in the society, women are not getting opportunities to prove themselves. See, when I am not giving opportunity to you to prove yourself, how can you say that you are more physically stronger than man or you are more intelligent than man? Because opportunities are not there. That is the heading which is mentioned here. Fewer opportunities and rigid expectations. Very less number of opportunities are given to female members as compared to male members. That is what we have observed in Rosia ma'am class. And even we are going to conduct this survey outside the class also, the same thing will be observed there. And I will tell you where patients need to be handled with more care, more love, all the women are there. Where scientific or technical things are required, men are put in that category. What does that mean? We are not giving opportunities to the women so that they can prove themselves. And very rigid expectations are there from them. Even today also you will see this thing. If your mother is going from outside the house to do some work, whenever she will come back, the whole family will expect she will do the outside job also and she will be responsible for managing the home task also. That is very rigid expectations are there from the women in our society. Now one story. So students, our next topic is breaking stereotypes. What are stereotypes? That I already told you that people started fixing a particular image regarding women. So now women wants to break these stereotypes and government also played a crucial role in breaking of these stereotypes by providing more job opportunities, by providing not only in job opportunities but in other fields also to the women so that they can prove themselves in different aspects of their life. Now what is said here, you can say this, see that it is important to understand that we live in society in which all the children face pressure from world around them. Nowadays children are not free to think, to do, to enact what they want. They have pressure of society on them. And that is the reason women are not given opportunities or are given fewer opportunities to prove themselves. So what happened, even if today you will observe now, what we can observe that one man and one woman, they are just working at the same place or at the same designation, but the salary of man is higher as compared to the salary of woman. Also both are occupied at the same place and are doing the same job. So women started working hard that they will get more and more opportunities and they can prove that they are more deserving or equally deserving as compared to men. They are not less than men in any of the way. Now one particular story is there that I already told you. What I said, that students have outside pressure on them. They cannot do what they want. Sometimes parents used to say to students, like one story is given here regarding Xavier, where he scored only 65% in maths, and in physics also he secured very less marks, but he secured good marks in history. So basically he wants to move ahead in the fields of art, but his father is saying him that you need to do hard work in mathematics and physics, because arts field or history is not going to give anything to you. So what are these? These are hurdles in the way of people, not in the way of man, but also in the way of women. The pressure of the society that each and every individual need to cross, and to prove that whatever they think, whatever they want to do, they are going to do that only. So next is learning for change. Now see students, I have already said this thing, that earlier learning opportunities for women were very rare, were very scarce. Men were given preference to learn things. Women were not given preference to learn more knowledge, to learn more things. Even they don't have the skill of reading with them. If they want to get something understood which is written, say anything in your sacred book like a Gita or Quran, they were dependent on their elders, on their male members especially, for getting information what is written there, and they were more involved in doing, you can say, craft work. Today also, like one example is given here, you have observed this. When a potter is making pot, you know, you need to bake the you can say sand. Thereafter it is possible to make the pot. That baking of sand is done by the female member, but as no female member is engaged in giving the proper shape of pot, the whole credit of making the pot goes to the man and not to the woman. So that is the problem that people, children, women used to face in the society, and they used to get less opportunities, and especially women or girls, they are deprived of many opportunities in the society, but they fought for their right. Now see students, regarding one autobiography, one information is given here, that is Rashindra Devi. Now what is mentioned here? This lady, she was basically interested in studying, but her husband doesn't like her to read things. Now one day what she did, her husband forgot one of the novel outside, and he just moved inside the room. So what she did, she just extract the page of the novel, and also he found that her son was learning something, was studying something. He used to sit there nearby her son, and he used to keenly watch and observe what he is writing. Then he used to match the words that are written in her words book or notebook with the words that are present in novels, and this is how, by hiding books or by hiding notebooks, she learns how to write. She learns how to read the things or fact, and that is what she mentioned in her autobiography. She was not given this liberal pace that she can easily go, and like you people are having liberty with you, that books are there with you, teachers are there with you to guide, you can study. She worked hard, really worked hard to gain some knowledge. She needs to hide the book, she needs to hide the material, pay more attention and more focus to get this knowledge of reading and writing. Now the next is Ruqayya Shekhawat Hussain and her dream about Ladyland. Yes. Now what is this Ladyland? See, the name or the title is suggested itself. The story Ladyland means the land, the area which represent or which belongs to women. because at that time, as I already told you, women were given less preference over men's. So at that time only, this lady named Ruqayya Shekhawat, she dreamed and she write in her novel or book named Ladyland, where she mentioned she dreamed that one time in the future, one time will be there when both men and women will be given equal opportunities to prove themselves, and women will be somehow overleading the men. They will also engage themselves in the field of technical fields, like we discussed regarding scientists, in the fields of pilots. They were also engaged in all these things, that is, they are going to fly high in the sky. So she just dream about that land, that is the Ladyland, what she mentioned in her novel. Thereafter, students, yes, this information I already told you regarding her, that you can say her husband is reading one of the novel named Chaitanya Bhagat, how she hid the pages of Chaitanya Bhagat, secretly kept those pages, and how when her child used to study the alphabet, she pay keen interest on that, take information or knowledge from there also, and slowly and steadily she learns how to read and write. And then is schooling and education today. As compared to the last time, now the scenario has changed, and women or females also get the opportunities to get educated, to gain knowledge. In this way, not only the society but the government is also helping women or girls in grabbing knowledge or in gaining education by providing reserved seat for them, and people are more liberal in their thinking now as compared to the last time. So definitely, as compared to the earlier time, the ratio of the number of school going girls increased, but not up to the maximum extent. Still, at many of the different places we can see this thing, clear preference, especially in case of poor families where they cannot afford the schooling of both the their children. What they used to do, they used to prefer to send their male child to the school and not interested in sending the female child to the school, because they can afford the schooling of one child only. In that case, woman brings many initiative, that free readings or free books, and in fact midday meal that we read in earlier chapter, such schemes were also introduced, so that people got attracted and start sending girls children to schools, and this ratio of boys and schools to reach schools or to gain education became balanced. Now you can see here, if we talk about primary classes from 1st to 5th, total number of boys, total number of girls, a total percentage is given, then severe category is also there, SC and ST. So what overall we can observe from this data is, yes, there is improvement in the ratio of number of girl children who are getting education, but not up to the highest extent or up to the maximum extent. Still, women are lacking behind in this, irrespective of the government effort and people effort. So more effort, strict actions needed to be taken care in this field. And if we, and some particular you can say community or societies are there where still women are not given these rights, these opportunity. Like if we talk about Muslim girls, they were given less preference, or SC or ST girls, though the government from its side had given more preferences. Like I said you, they started the midday meal concept, they started giving reservation or quota to women so that their ratio increases in this stream. But still, what we have observed, that girls are more involved in emotional fields, in the taking care fields, like they can be nurses or they are involved in teaching jobs, and somewhere they are lacking in technical jobs or in scientific jobs. This is what I have mentioned, but slowly and steady women are fighting for their right. And one person we have already discussed about him, that is Om Prakash Valmiki. He also explained his experience and also take important initiatives so that women can establish themselves and get equal opportunities and rights for them. The next is women's movement. Students, this thing I already told you. When women saw this thing that they were discriminated in the society and were not given equal respect or equal dignity as men were getting, what they started? They started protesting, they started criticizing the society, they started criticizing the people who were interested in discriminating women. So they started different movements in the form of campaigns, in the form of protest, vibrant movements. So what does that means? Now in groups they are coming ahead to raise their points of discrimination that they are facing in the society, to raise the point of struggle that they face. Now first one is campaigning, that I already told you. You can see here in this picture also, where maximum number of women are coming on the road and they used to raise their voice, they used to campaign regarding a particular topic, regarding the criticism, regarding the problem that they were facing in the society. And one of the famous campaign was against domestic violence. What was that? Domestically means within the home territories. Earlier women were physically abused, they were emotionally abused, and they were given no proper treatment in the houses. They were beaten badly by their in-laws, their husbands, and sometimes they used to, we have studied that story also, they used to spend kerosene on them and burnt them. So women come together, do a particular campaign and raise their voice against that. So finally, when maximum number of women come ahead with this issue, government has to take strict action, and they came ahead with the Domestic Violence Act, which clearly stated that if any of the women found herself domestically violated, physically violated, emotionally violated in the house, then she has the complete right that she can go to court and file a case against Domestic Violence Act. And when that case will be filed, against whom that case is filed, suppose one particular lady is filing that against her in-laws, then the whole family as per the act will be found punishable. They can be sent to the jail, or they can or may have to bear huge amount of fine. And so that is what I mentioned here. How they got justice? They got justice when they raised their voice by participate in various movements, by participating, by criticizing people, government, by protesting in the form of campaigns. Thereafter, students, next one is raising awareness. Exactly, again you can see here, if one lady is educated, she know about a particular situation, then that lady can educate or can give awareness or can give information to the second ladies or to the other ladies who are unknown about their rights. Suppose still Domestic Violence Act is there, but still one lady is there who is domestically violated in the society. One particular lady is there who is aware about the law, domestic violence law. So what she can do? She can aware the other also. So how they can aware their other members, other girls members or women members? By arranging public meetings where they used to have a particular agenda. In public meetings, they used to discuss on particular agenda, particular topic, and they used to provide education to those women or aware them. And then is your protesting, that I already told you. If they are against any law, against any policy, then they have complete right that they can protest against it. They can criticize that law or policy that we are not ready to accept is. And then last is showing solidarity. Now what is that? The women's movement is also about showing solidarity with other movement and causes. That is, they are arranging in groups and providing information to all and tried their level best, and that is how when they come forward, fight for their right, they got justice in the society. So student, what we have learned from here is, if a particular person, in this chapter we talk about women, but not only women, if any person got violated or humiliated in any of the way, the best way is to protest against it, to criticize that thing, so that you can be heard and you can get justice. Like in this case, women got the justice and they also break all these stereotypes and were successful in proving that they also have the right to get equal opportunities as men have, and they also were capable of establishing them properly in the society. So students, that's it about our chapter, and I hope you understand the chapter very well. Now we will discuss about the question answers of the chapter. First question is, how do you think stereotypes about what women can or cannot do affects women's rights to equality? Right, what does right to equality states? Right to equality states that both man and a woman are equal in the eyes of law, right? But when a particular person, a particular organization, society is having stereotypic thought in minds, like in that diagram or table I explained to you, the society is having the stereotype thought in their minds. Women cannot be good pilots, women cannot be good mathematicians, women cannot be able to do good physical strength work. So what does that happens? Wherever such fields will be available, women will not be given equal opportunities, and when they will be not given equal opportunities, clearly right to equality got violated. The next is, list one reason why learning the alphabets was so important to women like Rasundra Devi, Ramabai and Rukaiya. Definitely, if we talk about that time now, we have maximum of British women authors. Indian women authors were not there at that time. So what happens? Nowadays you are observing this thing, right, that we are getting information from books, from Granth that I told you, from sacred book. I give you the example of Puran, Ramayana, Gita. They were dependent on man only for gathering all such information. So if they have knowledge of alphabets, they can read such things on their own and they feel independent. They were not dependent on anyone for any sort of cause. Then is, poor girls drop out of school because they are not interested in getting an education. Reread the last paragraph on the page 62 and explain why this statement is not true. I explained this to you in the chapter only. Why this statement is not true? Because in poor families, only this much amount is available that they can afford to provide education to one of their child, and generally in poor families they give preference to their male child to get education over their female child. And the next question is, can you describe two methods of struggles that the women movement used to raise their issues? We have studied campaigning is there, protesting is there, and many more. So you can write any two in that. So students, that's it about our topic, and last topic is left, that is your glossary. Let's discuss it once also. Stereotype, I already told you. Fixing a particular image of a person or a product is stereotype. Stereotype thinking can be in positive way or it can be in negative way also. Then is your discrimination, when equal treatment is not given to all, one is given preference over other. Then is your violation. Violation, you can say not following, like you can say violation of law can be there when you are not ready to follow any law. In that case violation of law is there. And last one is your sexual harassment, that we have already discussed, that women were physically abused and they were harassed. So students, these are some important terms that come across our chapter and we have discussed all. So that's it about our chapter. I hope you understand the chapter very well. Thank you students.